Okay, so I'm going to get back on track right now and get back to what I wanted to talk about. So, and to let you know, I am going to try to keep this one on the shorter side because I have a lot to do before I leave tomorrow. Okay. Okay. So today's talk, this Love and Learn talk, is just, I'm going to keep it shorter, and it dovetails with last week's Magic Mondays, where I was talking about the divine feminine in relationship to the divine masculine. But I actually took it and I went really big picture with it. Like I chunked all the way up to big picture. And I actually went to the creation story in other cultures, particularly in shamanistic cultures and other long, I'm not looking for the word, indigenous. So a lot of the indigenous cultures, right? So the Hawaiians, the Native Americans, back in Peru, in Hinduism, a lot of those cultures have a completely different creation story than we do in American, and particularly with American Christianity. So I really just kind of last week, I talked about that and I loved it. So hopefully you guys, if you're watching this on replay and you didn't get to see last week's Magic Monday and you're interested in this topic of divine feminine and divine masculine energies and how they relate, go back last week on my YouTube channel or on Facebook and check it out. Okay. Okay. So a quick follow-up, because I wasn't able to get to this and I wanted to bring it down because, as above, so below, as within, so without is just one of my favorite things, right? It goes all the way back to Hermes Trismegistus, way back. That was, it's also called the law of correspondence. And so that's one of the universal laws that we operate on in this reality of ours, this world of ours, right? As above, so below. And so one of the things that I always try to do on Magic Mondays, if I put out some bigger esoteric kind of ideas and topics, I always want to try to bring it down to below to how it affects you and how it affects your life, so you can understand these topics in a spiritual sense, an esoteric sense, and then also bring them into where you can enforce them and incorporate them into your human physical life as you are today, as Susan as you are, as Hitomi as you are, Deborah, all of you guys. So what I want to do is I just want to do a quick follow-up and I want to bring it back to today. Okay. And I'm going to go back to the book that I did last week. Remember, I told you It's a Guy Thing by David Deida, and it's an owner's manual for women, which cracks me up. This is probably his most down-to-earth book that he has. He has a lot of other books. One of the things I love about David Deida is it really is his life mission to teach men self-improvement. And I love the way he teaches the masculine energy he explains the masculine energy, and he really teaches men to be better partners to their feminine women. So, or it doesn't matter whether, it doesn't have to be, male female relationships. It could also be female female, male male, whatever it is, but just in terms of working with the feminine energies and the masculine energies. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to go back to this book really quick, and I just want to read one last thing to you guys that I didn't get to last time, and it's right here. Okay, I've got it down here, so not here, but right here. And it says, excuse me, you guys, I am going to do readings today, I promise. It says, how can men strengthen their masculine and women strengthen their feminine? So he's talking about in our modern society, we lack coherent masculine culture where men get together with other men and keep other aligned in truth. Hey friend, wake up. Men need this, otherwise they become weak and ambiguous. I don't know what I'm going to do, so maybe I'll just go have another beer. Without a strong men's culture, men become unclear, indecisive, and ambiguous in the direction of their lives. Shared masculine energy offers men challenge, an edge of responsibility, and discipline. Without this energy, they tend to flounder and lose their sense of inner truth. Okay, so last week we were talking about the male energy as the action energy, the direction energy, the modal energy, the one that takes the creation force energy of the feminine and actually makes it happen, right? So the women burst the energy, we create it, we come up with it, and then feminine energy, and then we put it out into the world, and then it's action oriented, which is male energy. Now, this is specifically talking about men, that men need to be with other men because the way that men operate, and I'm sure you guys have seen this, they talk so differently than we do, right? They kind of challenge each other, they rib each other, they joke with each other, they kind of make themselves uncomfortable, they kind of compete with each other. I don't get it. Like, I still don't get it, right? That's the way it happens. But it's really, really important for the masculine energy to have friends to bounce that off of, okay? Now, let me read this part that I love. As a woman, you cannot take responsibility to rebuild and refocus your man's masculine energy. He does that on his own with other men. So, not our responsibility, right? It is really important for the guys in our lives to go do guy things, right? They need to have guy friends. They need to go off. They need to do their stuff. You know, my husband goes on a camping trip, a long 5-day camping trip 3 times a year with his buddies, and he gets so excited, and I send him off happily because I don't want to go camp in the desert where there's no bathrooms and no showers, and it doesn't sound like fun, and he loves it. So good for him. Awesome. Go do that, right? Okay. So let me get back to other thing. Hi, Adrienne. So nice to see you, honey. So let me just read this little last bit and then I'll talk about it. Okay. It says, likewise, our society lacks a strong woman's culture. One of the best ways for women to nurture and strengthen herself is in the company of other women. A group of women shares something that just doesn't happen when a man is present. Women can relax together, let their hair down, nurture one another, dance together, soften their masculine edge, right? Be able to soften when we have to be out there going, doing, getting our businesses run, getting our stuff happening, going to work every single day. Those things is being in our masculine energy. So one of the best ways to soften that masculine energy and breathe freely is to be with other women. The feminine is nourished in the company of other women. Okay. So that's really what I just wanted to talk about today is we need each other. We really do. If there's one thing the pandemic showed is that we missed each other in our sharing our physical energy and our physicality with each other. And so, it's really amazing that we're now back together and we are getting to be able to hug again and touch each other and be with each other and look at each other in the eyes and have breakfast with each other and, just have lunches and get back to the feminine company again. So yes, Jesse, your lady tribe. Adrienne, you understand your support and your lady tribe, right? So it is really, really important. So one of the things I'm just here to really talk about today is that the world has switched. We are getting back out. We are being able to really, enjoy each other's company and have an entirely new perspective about it because we lost that during the pandemic. We had to be so careful about being around other people and being in public. So remember one of the things I say pretty much every single Magic Monday, right? That self-care is not selfish. Self-care is mandatory for you to be able to take care of yourself. And, particularly the feminine energy that is a nurturer and takes care of everybody else, we tend to put ourselves on the bottom. So one of the things I want you to really think about, okay, is that connection, making sure that you are around other females. And again, you guys, I know there's no men on here right now. I very rarely have men on my Magic Mondays. My clients are all women. Last week I said they were men, but they're not. I was just talking fast and channeling. My clients are women. My people who I want to help, the humans I want to help, the people who I want to rise is I want to help the sisters rise. So rise, sister, rise, right? So it's really, really, really imperative that you have a lady tribe, that you have girlfriends, that you have an inner circle, that you have people that you can rely on and trust on and who have your back. I love that quote that says, be the woman that straightens another woman's crown and then doesn't tell anybody about it, right? And that's really what I just want to leave you with today is that understand that when you take time for yourself, away from your family obligations, away from your spouse, away from your partner, any of those things that you're doing, and you take time for yourself, you are nurturing yourself. And you are also helping to raise the vibration of our planet, because when we are together as women, again, we dance, we sing, we laugh, we chat, we let our masculine energy go. We settle into our creativity. We settle into our feminine. We do all of those things when we are together. And together, when you're with a tribe of women who rises each other's up, then you rise the vibration and the frequency. It goes out into the ethers. It goes out into the planet. So when you're taking care of yourself in this way, you are also taking care of the planet in this way. And you're helping to raise the vibration in the divine feminine energy. And remember, the divine feminine energy is life force itself. We are creation energy. So what is more powerful than the act of creation? What is more powerful in this world than divine feminine energy together in partnership, in collaboration, in connection? What in the world could be more powerful than that? Okay. Awesome. So that was my message today. And speaking of that, so I did want to talk about community and the fact that we have community, and for that. And I also want to take the moment to let you guys know that, again, if you want to be in community with me and you happen to be in Arizona on October 20, 26, 27, 28th, I am teaching some art classes in Mesa for Art Fest. There is, I think it's Art Fest. I'm not sure. Hitomi, if you might look that up for me, I'm not sure. I think it might be artfest.com, but it's with the Artist Network is what that is. So I would love to have you be in community. And then, of course, I've told you a couple of times about the Society of Wildflowers. See, Deborah, I almost did it again, Wildflowers, the Society of Wildflowers event conference that's happening in Laguna Beach next July. And I know it's a whole year away, you guys, and I can hardly wait, but registration's going on now. It's a small, intimate retreat. And the things that we are going to do, if you actually look at the Society of Wildflowers conference, it's sowconf.com. Hitomi will put it in, and you read the things that are going to happen in sisterhood. It's 100% sisterhood next year. It's just something that lights your soul on fire. So those are two opportunities for you to be able to be in community and be in community with me in person. And I would love to experience this with you. And if you can't do those things, that's perfectly fine. Continue to be in community with me on Magic Mondays. I love you. I'm happy you're here. I welcome you here every single week. I just wish we could have a big Zoom and have everybody together so I could see all your faces. But, and it's like, but just do that. It's like, find your sisters and, find your tribe and love them hard, right? So find your sisters, love them hard. And then the one final thing I want to say about this is, as you raise your vibration, right? As you find your divine feminine, as you find your truth, live your authenticity, live some of these more spiritual ways of being, sometimes your vibration no longer matches people who were in your life before. And some of the women friends that you used to have, or some of your sisters or whatever, you may no longer mesh, right? You just might outgrow each other. You may have nothing to talk about anymore. That person may be in patterns, childhood patterns, negative stories, those kind of things that they just can't ever see the good. They only talk about the negative. And that's been a problem for me. And I have had to let some people go in my life because I just, as much as I tried to change the conversation and make it positive, or I tried to make it to where we were talking about something of substance, or we were trying to raise I was trying to raise the vibration into a little bit more love, light, sharing, all the good stuff. And, my friends just couldn't see the forest through the trees. We just outgrew each other. So sometimes you may outgrow a friend of yours. Okay. And I did a post on Instagram this week where I talked about, that old saying about friends is a season, a reason, or a lifetime. Oh, you guys, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me, forgive me, all that energy is building up, right? So as and I talked about that, and I really talked about, that the hardest part for me was the letting go. The realization took a while to come that things were changing. And then the hardest part was letting go of the friendship and letting go of what was, and particularly letting go where I sent that person in just massive love and light and no victimization and no charge and no upset over what had happened. We just simply grew apart. And so sometimes that happens. Also, sometimes when you raise your vibration and you really get into your divine feminine, you also have to set very healthy boundaries for yourself. And if you are setting healthy boundaries for yourself with connection and people that don't like you setting boundaries and don't necessarily like the person you're becoming, you need to look at that as well, because you setting healthy boundaries for yourself and not allowing people to mow over them, or you mow over other people's boundaries, that can cause a little bit of an upset as well. So I just want to talk about things. I wanted to talk about the dark, and I wanted to talk about the light. I wanted to talk about the shadow, and I wanted to talk about the transformation, because they don't happen without each other. Okay. There is always darkness. There is always light. There is always transformation. There is always stuck. It's part of, again, the law of duality, universal laws, and the way we live and what we go through. So, so if you find yourself in those relationships that are not serving you anymore, then that's shadow work. Okay. And I know shadow work can sound scary to go through. Working with the deep psyche can be difficult sometimes. And it's really important. It's really, really necessary work if you want to have change and transformation. Okay. Okay. So remember, sisterhood, love, people that rise you up, people that allow you to rise, people who you can rise, people who will fix your crown and not make a big deal out of it. All of those things, just remember that is really important for the divine feminine and for the feminine energy. So I'm giving you just permission and a challenge also, because I love to offer you challenges, to acknowledge it and step into it and realize that it's amazing, right? And it's important. So, so get together with your sisters, get together with your girlfriends, have some fun. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Great. So that is my love and learn for today. And Hitomi has been amazing. She's been dropping the Society of Wildflowers conference in there and some other things. So that's in there as well. So if you guys want to check that stuff out, go ahead and click the links and check it out. Okay. Great. I'm checking in. Hang on a second. Let me just check in. Yep. They're telling me time to move on. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some cards today. And Hitomi, I'm going to do the universal card of the energy for the week. Oh, real quick, one last thing I want to tell you about the feminine energy this week, because this is really important. It's been building for it last week and this week today. We actually have Venus. So we have cosmic energies of Venus coming into this week. So that means this is going to be a heavy relationship week for all of you guys today. Okay. So this week with Venus cosmic energies coming in, Venus is all about love, all about relationships, the good, the bad, the ugly, but definitely, even relationship with self, but in particular relationships with others. So just know that if it starts coming into your field, your reticular activating system, right? That's the neurology part of things coming into your field, and it's all relationship stuff this week. Just know that there is cosmic energies going on. There is the collective, the collective conscious, the collective of all of us as humans are feeling this week. Okay. So if you get sticky wickets, that's what I call it. If you get sticky wickets with relationships this week, do not be alarmed. Congratulations. You were sensitive to the energy and you were right on target. Okay. Okay. Awesome.